What's up, guys? I'm Lojo from the Lojo Fishing channel, here today with Mystery Tackle Box to talk to you guys about switching your lures, when to switch them, why to switch them, what lures to switch to when you're not getting bit. Stay tuned, guys. Guys, it seems like every time I go fishing, I have to learn the same lessons over and over again. Just think about it for a second. So you do your research the day before. You check the weather, check the fishing report. Let's say maybe you've even practiced at this one particular spot. You know exactly what lure they're hitting. But then you go out there the next day and you can't even get a bite on that lure. I mean, you spent all this time preparing, practicing, researching, and the lure that you thought was going to dominate can't even get a bite. Well, guys, when you come to that realization, guess what? It's time to switch lures. Fishing this little custom Z-Man chatterbait right now. Great bait, working all different areas of the water column, all different water clarities. Thing just works. But guys, there could be a million different reasons why the fish are not biting your lure. Maybe you're using the right lure, but you're not using it the right water depth. Maybe you're using the right lure, but you're not using the right retrieve. Or simply you're just not using the right lure. If you were smoking them in practice on a chatterbait in 5 to 8 feet of water, just kind of steadily retrieving it, the next day you go out and you can't get a bite, well, you know what? Those fish might be more shallow than they were. They might be deeper than they were, and you're going to have to adjust accordingly. Guys, I'm certainly guilty of being somebody who just gets stubborn out in the water, and I'm sure most of you guys have done the exact same thing. You've got a handful of lures that you feel comfortable with, and those are the lures you want to throw on any given day. But you know what? Sometimes those bass, they're really finicky creatures, and sometimes they're just not going to eat your confidence lures. So I hope that you have some other lures with you that might help you reach some different water depths, give the bass a different presentation to look at. Maybe it's something brand new that you've never thrown before, and all of a sudden the bass could start crushing it. Like right now, these bass should be killing this Z-Man custom chatterbait, but for whatever reason they're not eating it, so I'm gonna have to make a change myself really soon. Since they weren't eating that moving bait very much, let's slow things down. A little Lucky John Shad 80X, little shallow diving jerk bait. And I throw a bird's nest. Let me tell you guys something about me. I don't use jerk baits but about 2 times a year, and this will be my one of my times. That's because it's something that I'm not very comfortable with. But I also know that this kind of lure will catch fish. It gives them a different presentation, slows the presentation down. Maybe that's what they're in the mood for today. You know, we don't know. It also hits a different area of the water column. You know, this thing only dives about 2-3 feet deep, so I'm staying pretty shallow, as opposed to that chatterbait that I was working kind of slow, so it was down maybe 5, 6, 7 feet deep. Big difference in water column where it's hitting. Establishing a pattern, guys, is what it's all about. You guys know that. When you go out, and whether you're trying to fish a tournament or just fun fish, you've got to figure the fish out and put that pattern together. And that can be a lot easier said than done sometimes. But I can tell you one thing for sure. You're not going to put a pattern together by only throwing the same lures that you throw every time you go to the lake. Unless you just get really lucky. You're going to have to change your presentation. You're going to have to slow things down, speed things up, try different water depths, try different ends of the lake. You know, if you're a bank fisherman and you're not getting bit at your normal spot, go somewhere else, man. I know it hurts to leave your good spot, but go somewhere else, see what happens. What's the worst that's going to happen? You don't catch any fish, or you're not catching fish anyways. So who cares? Experiment with different retrieves on your favorite lures. You know, that's another thing. If you really just don't want to stop throwing your favorite lures, that's fine. But experiment with a different retrieve, you know. If you're using a Texas rig soft plastic and you bounce them on the bottom, that's what you do. But you're not getting bit, well, try swimming it. Try just swimming it slowly. You know, swim it. You never know. Try giving it big bounces, you know. Pull up, let it fall. Pull up, let it fall. Be creative. Bass are not stupid. Once they've got caught by something, they may remember what that was. They may remember what it looked like, what it moved like. So you've got to constantly keep those fish on their toes, keep them guessing. when all else fails, let's try the little fish hog jig with the finesse worm on there, because if you're gonna get silly, you might as well get really silly.
It is, man.
Ooh, I just got a bite, but he sure didn't take it. Come on, buddy, come eat this jig worm. Guys, now we've just resorted to dragging a jig on the bottom, and I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to get bit. Any kind of soft plastic lure, Texas rig, jig, whatever you want to drag, just drag something and drag it slow. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now with this fish hog jig. All right, guys, I had to get off the water. I had to head on back home to my little shop, my little tackle warehouse that I've got in my garage. But guys, just to kind of sum up what I was saying in today's video, you've got to know when to change lures. And I kind of went over all the different scenarios for me that lets me know when I want to change lures. Everybody probably has their own amount of time that if they're not getting bit, they'll change lures, or they'll change techniques, or they'll change the cadence of their lure, or whatever. You know, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. You know, I don't know. It depends on you, depends on the body of water that you're fishing. It depends on how many fish you normally catch in any given situation. Depends on the weather. You know, maybe it's the weather that has turned them off and not your lure. There's a lot of factors to take into consideration. So just to keep it simple, if you're throwing a lure that you love to throw and you normally get bit on, and you're not getting bit in this particular day, make a change. Whether or not you're going from a weighted Texas rig to a weightless Texas rig. Maybe you're throwing the right lure, but it's not on the right rig. Take that weight off there. Maybe you're throwing a topwater walking style bait, but you're walking it way too slow. Maybe you need to speed it up to get more of a reaction style strike from the bass. Maybe you're fishing a deep diving crankbait, but you're not diving deep enough. You know, maybe you're diving 12 feet, but the fish are at 15. There are so many different aspects to this, guys. But the main thing is that you have to actually make that change. We are fishermen, we get stubborn out on the water. We want to throw what we want to throw. We want to throw what we think is going to catch fish. But guess what, guys? The fish are in different moods every single day, just like we are as human beings. And I can tell you that is 100% true. The fish that I fish for, they change their minds every day about what they want, how they want it. So there's a million things you can do to increase your catch rates, and this is one of those things, is just being able to say, you know what, I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to change it, however small the change may be or however big the change may be. Guys, I hope you enjoy all these tips, and I hope that they make you go out and catch more fish. I know that they help me. Guys, make sure you subscribe to Mr. Tacklebox channel, hit the bell notification, that way you stay up to date on all their new videos. I'll be seeing you guys on the Mr. Tacklebox channel again really soon, probably in my kayak next time. But until then, guys, I'm getting out of here on to the next fishing adventure. Fist bump, I'm out.